Kaylin's being very brave about a tummy ache. And now we have Nick here who is present.
Yeah.
Barely. Nick is here, period. That's
Yes.
it.
Honestly, that's fair.
And it's like 35% of the time he's here.
What?
Exactly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen, and today we'll be making pumpkin soup, or Juha od Bundeve. I always thought that squash was a very American thing, and I was very surprised to find that it has such a strong foothold here. And of course, in typical Croatian fashion, there is a soup made out of this. Given Croatians' love of soup, I figured this would be a great thing to do as our first episode back. Plus we get to utilize something of a very American vegetable that you can obviously find anywhere, and now we'll just put a little Croatian twist onto it. So here we have some butternut squash that I've already diced up into like pretty big pieces. It doesn't matter how big they are because we're going to be blending this all together a bit later. I have diced onions. These are 3 medium onions. I have 3 carrots and I've diced along with a celeriac. Celeriac or celery root is a lot more common here than celery stalk. Not really sure why that is.
Because Europeans are allergic to celery.
So Kaylin's theory is that because Europeans tend to be allergic to celery stalk, they use celery root instead, which is actually a completely different vegetable. Like if you plant celery root, you're not going to get celery stalk, you'll just get more celery root. It's very common in Central Europe, especially in like Germany. It's used in like their version of a mirepoix instead of celery. But celery is used a lot in Italy and France, so I feel like it can't be that like of a big allergen, right?
It's quite a big allergen. They highlight it in bold on all food lists here.
Interesting.
It's like peanuts in America.
Really?
Apparently. I don't know. I get my facts off of Instagram, so don't trust a damn word I say.
That is a trusted source. I never read the food allergy labels. I am not allergic to anything. We hope. Kaylin is allergic to life.
Yeah.
As we know.
Period.
That actually brings a very good point, because a lot of times in pumpkin soup, you'll put some potatoes into it. That really just helps give it some body, and then the starch will help thicken the soup. But we do want to make this Kaylin friendly, so there will be no potatoes today.
Thank you.
Of course, we have garlic. That's like 5 cloves minced. And we will be cooking this in butter.
Can you believe it?
I can believe it. So as for our spices, we have, of course, salt and pepper, and some parsley, which isn't really a spice, but a lot of Croatians like to translate the word as spice. And we have some pumpkin spice. This is a mix I made myself with cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, ginger, and cloves. It is, I mean, you can use it in anything. I actually do use it in coffee and like some pour over and make like, I guess, a pumpkin spice latte because I'm
Because he's a white girl.
Because you're an American white girl, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Pumpkin spice fish.
Pumpkin spice fish sounds terrible.
That's not very nice, Nicholas.
Wouldn't it be the worst thing that's been up there?
And I'm the not nice one.
I'm quitting.
Kaylin quits counter.
Yes.
You can't count that one because that bit's not going to be in here.
That's true. We also have some heavy cream. Mainly we're going to use this to as like a topping at the end, but if we get to the point where we blend this and it doesn't look like the right consistency, we'll add some cream in there to thin it out if necessary. And we also have pumpkin seed oil, also again for topping. So this will be a blended soup, so it doesn't really matter how big or like rough you end up dicing everything. Like these are very irregularly shaped, and the onions too, they're pretty much diced, but like sometimes I didn't cut through everything, so you might have like a sliced onion in there. It doesn't matter because we're going to blend this all together at the end. So now we'll go head over to the stove where we'll start making our soup. So we're over here at the stove. We've already gone ahead and put some butter into our pot, and now I'm just going to put the onions in as well as the butter starts to melt. This way they'll come up to temperature at the same time, leads to a nicer and more smooth onion taste. So now that the onions have started to get translucent, we're going to go ahead and add in our carrots and celeriac along with the squash. We're going to cook these until the squash looks a little bit brown. That'll just add some extra flavor. And once we see the squash has browned a little bit, we'll add in the garlic, cook for about a minute or until it is fragrant. And once you can smell the garlic, we'll go ahead and add in our water. This step is really important that you don't add too much water because there is a good amount of water in the squash. It will release as it cooks. So we're just going to pour until we get just to the top of where the squash is. And then we'll add about maybe a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of your pumpkin spice mixture. Be so careful this doesn't fall everywhere. Now we're going to let this cook for about 30 minutes. You really just want this to cook until the squash gets soft. So you can see here that the water level dropped a lot. It was up here, then it moved down a bit. But the water level looks the same because the squash releases a lot of water. To test that this is done, what we'll do is we'll take a piece of squash out and we'll just stab with our fork. We can see it goes through very easily, so therefore we know that it is done. Once we reach there, we will use our immersion blender to blend the soup into our nice creamy consistency. And now that the squash has been fully cooked, we'll just bring it over from the stove so we can blend. We'll just take our immersion blender and go through everything until we get a nice smooth consistency. The consistency looks really nice.
It looks so yellow on the camera.
You'll be able to correct that. And see, the consistency here is quite nice, right? Nice and smooth and creamy. So the consistency turned out really nice, so I'm not going to do anything to the soup. If yours ends up a little too watery, you can just pop it back on the stove for about 5 minutes until it reduces. If your soup is too thick, then you can add in some heavy cream or just some water to thin it out. With that, it is time to serve. Got our ladle and our soup bowl. We'll give a nice hearty bowl of soup. So what I'll do first is take a spoon with the heavy cream. So I'm just going to pour a little bit into the spoon as such. And then very carefully switch hands because I am indeed a righty. And I'll just add a little bit on the top like a swirl. And then with the pumpkin seed oil, there we go. If we could ever open it. The same thing as well, give little drops of swirl. And then lastly, I'll just take some of the dried parsley, and we'll sprinkle it on top. And here we have Juha och Bundeve. And now we'll give our soup a taste. There we go. You know, I was a little concerned I put in a little too much of that pumpkin spice, but that turned out to be perfect. Not overpowering, really complementing the taste of the squash. And then the pumpkin seed oil with the cream on top just brings it to a whole nother level. This is amazing. I highly recommend that you make it. If you liked what you saw, please hit like and subscribe, and welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen. I burnt my throat.
The first throat burn of the season, folks.
Throat burn counter?
Bing!